Hey kids, just the myth we're about to test, just please, just do us a favor and just don't try it at home, all right? It's dangerous. We don't want you to get hurt, right?
Yep.
Yeah, just be safe.
Please.
For the children.
But who are the Bythmusters? Haley Jideman, Saddam Havage, joined by Lori, Tori, and Corey. Between them, less than 2 weeks of any actual experience.
So you've probably seen the breaking a wine glass experiment before. And the way it works is we have our wine glass here, and you shoot sound at it. But the key here is you want to find what's called the resonant frequency of the glass. And that is at the frequency at which when sound waves hit it, and keep in mind sound waves they're not this type of wave, this is just a representation of it. When they hit it, they cause the glass to vibrate. Because the sound waves, the wavelength of the sound, is roughly the size of the glass, or a harmonic of it. And so this will cause the glass to vibrate violently, and if this happens violently enough, it will cause the glass to shatter. What we don't want to do is just shoot it with straight up sound, as sound energy is enough to cause the glass to shatter, but that's not what the myth says. It shatters because of the resonant frequency.
Hey guys, Corey here. Now before we start this experiment, we need to establish what the resonant frequency of this wine glass is. So to do that, we're going to do the old musical trick of wetting your finger and running it along the rim of the glass. So if we just listen, we can try to match pitch, and that will be the resonant frequency of this wine glass. So, and there we have it. That is the resonant frequency of this wine glass, and that's what we need to make it explode. Ready?
So we just tested to see if we could break this wine glass using the power of sound, but we could not. The results were inconclusive. We think it is due to all the impurities in this glass because this was a very cheap glass from Kmart. So instead we are going to try this really expensive glass. So, in terms of data analysis, first off, to test this myth, we had two different glasses. We had a cheaper Kmart glass, and then once we figured out, it might have impurities, might not be as quality, we also got a more high quality, finer crystal glass. So this is the glass we used for the Kmart cheaper glass. We don't have the crystal glass, unfortunately. We didn't have enough money to keep it for this long.
The budget's a little tight these days.
Yeah, it is. So anyway, to test this myth, we used a couple different frequencies. We found 984 hertz to be the right frequency to us for the Kmart glass. It's we found the frequency using the methods we described earlier, and we went up and down a little just for to correct for our own error.
Frequencies are not perfect whole numbers, and as far as our singer, his frequencies were roughly plus or minus 5 from the 984.
Yeah.
He's pretty close.
Yeah,
Pretty on
he's
point.
excellent. Oh my God. So
He's a district singer for all you fans out there.
yeah. So in terms of loudness, we use a bass of about 125 to 131 decibels for the Kmart glass, and about the crystal glass as well, and in that neighborhood.
We found the louder works better. We got more shaking, so when we did the crystal glass, we took that knowledge, applied it here, and that's why these numbers are much larger.
Yeah. So for our trials, our first and our most basic trial was we had two speakers set up right here and right here. We had speakers, and then in the middle we had our wine glass with the straw in it. And now these it's kind of set up like a triangle here, like those are sort of closed in, and there's a lot of more space over here. So this is our first trial. We played our tone, we had him sing right here. Sound came out obviously, and we tried to do it, but we did get a lot of shaking. The straw was going pretty crazy at some points.
They use the word, what's the word they use these days?
Tweaking.
Okay, yeah.
The straw was tweaking quite a bit, but it did not break. So next we tried raising the glass. We figured that if we raised the glass, then the sound from the speakers might be more direct and it might work better.
The speaker part of our speaker, as you can see in this picture, is not at the bottom, it's more in the middle.
Yes. So we raised the glass right here, and we had, the sound coming out. We got pretty much the same results as our first trial, just without it raised. It might have been a little better from what I remember, but I think generally it was the same. So our next trial was trying to directing the sound straight to the glass. We figured this is good, however, it can be directed some more. So we had sort of poster board tube kind of thing that we made. It was like a cylinder with open ends, and we attached it to the speaker, and we had it. It was a very messy drawing, but it was like a tube that went from here to here.
And the idea is these are loudspeakers, so they're going to shoot sound off in all sorts of directions. Mm-hmm. And the idea is that you focus it so that it goes straight into the glass, and it will hopefully create a resonant frequency in that glass.
Yes. This, unfortunately, did not really work too well. I don't think that the material we used was really designed for keeping in sound and for directing sound, so it didn't really help us at all. It might have worked better if we had a better material, but it, for the most part, did not work. Our next trial was just taking one speaker out altogether, so we just take this speaker out, and we just use one speaker.
And the whole idea is, maybe the speakers are canceling the sound out, because sound waves, you can amplify them or you can cancel them out. So we're thinking if we get rid of a whole speaker, we could see if we can prevent any cancellation, if so, see if we can get more movement.
So we had the one speaker going at the glass. Results were fairly the same, if not maybe a little less effective. It was going for a bit, but really we didn't have any cracking or breaking or anything. So next we tried to just take the straw out. We figured it's possible maybe the straw could just be dampening the shaking of the straw or something, or interfering with the sound waves. So we just went for it. We took the straw out. That didn't really help us too much. Nothing really happened. We couldn't really tell how much it was vibrating, but it didn't really work for us. Our next trial was just taking it off the CD case. We figured, let's go back to the original way we had the glass, and we just put it back down here. Because we figured maybe the platform it was on was, dampening the sound as well. We don't know.
Preventing the glass from vibrating and shaking.
Yeah. So we had this. We had our straw back in. Obviously, we wanted the straw back in. Didn't really help without it. So we tried that, and it worked pretty much the same as before when we had the straw in. Didn't really change a whole lot. However, it didn't really break either. And last but not least, we had our original setup. Once again.
Just so we could compare, see if maybe what we had was much better than what we originally start with. And unfortunately, we didn't see any major improvements with any of these changes we've made. And it is suspected that the biggest issue is directing the sound, because we did use the cone, but the paper might not be a very effective material for focusing sound. And if we had a more directional speaker or some sort of maybe sound foam, we could direct the sound straight into the glass so that you don't have sound waves bouncing all around. It just goes straight into the glass, and all that energy goes into just vibrating the glass, and hopefully we could get it to shatter.
Yes. So after doing our original setup again, we got pretty much the same results as our first trial. It was tweaking a bit, however, it didn't really amount to much. So after all these trials, we decided to give it a rest, and here we are now analyzing all the data that we collected.
And we took our best trial there, and that's what we used to do the crystal glass experiment.
Yes.
We sort of took what we learned from these trials, tried it with the crystal glass, and unfortunately we weren't able to get the crystal glass to shatter either.
Yeah. So to me that sounds like myth plausible, if you would agree with that. Yeah. It can be done, breaking a wine glass with sound. Actually, our friends over at Bythmusters did it a while back. However, we cannot do it because we are better than them.
And we suspect that if you take some of those experimental changes, we could get the glass to shatter.
Yeah, if we had, I think it's all about the equipment we had and the circumstances. But hey, we tried. A for effort, am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
I am right. So that concludes data analysis. Thank you.